Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Sporting Max. Today, we are joined by Brisbane Bullets legend and NBL legend, Derek Rucker. Welcome to the podcast, Derek. It's an absolute honour to have you on. How you doing?
I'm very well, Max, and thanks for inviting me. I'm glad we were able to work it out, and I'm ready to get into it.
Thanks, Derek. Now, growing up in America, as a kid through the 1970s and the 1980s, what was that like for you?
Well, I mean, that was certainly a different era. The accessibility to sporting events on TV was much different than it is today.
Yeah.
Obviously, you guys are, well, me also, we're able to watch events live on our devices, whether it be at home, laptops. We can be on the train and the car and still have access via our phones. But it was much different when I was growing up. The NBA, for example, wasn't even shown live that often.
Wow.
The championship series was tape delayed, what they called it. So the game was played, say, at 8 p.m. and it may not be shown until like 11.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah, it was certainly a different time. And, you had to get up the next day and read the results in the paper. It wasn't like you had access right away and immediate information.
Yep. So when did you sort of start to get involved in basketball and playing basketball as a kid?
Oh, I started playing at about the age of 6. My dad got me involved. He was a professional football player in the NFL. And so I just love sports. I was small, but I was athletic. And I think he kind of forecast that my body type would be more compatible to basketball than it would be to gridiron.
What was that like growing up around your dad, who you just mentioned played in the NFL?
Well, it's tough, it's tough as a child going to school, and so much of how you're treated was dependent upon how my dad's team went the week before.
Yeah.
So, if they took bad losses in school, I didn't always look forward to going to school on a Monday, and I knew that week was going to be somewhat tough. But my dad was a very good player, so he rarely had bad games, and his performances alone, put a lot of pride in me, and so I was always able to hold my head high.
Now, I believe you attended the university school in Ohio.
Yeah.
How did you find the transition throughout school, and what subjects really took your interest?
I always loved numbers, Max, and math was very big with me, and I kind of was, I was a pretty good student, and university school is a very prestigious school in Northeastern Ohio, right outside of Cleveland. And so I was very fortunate to get the opportunity to go there. But most importantly, because I was young for my age, I went to a public school prior. I actually transferred to university school and repeated year 11, and that allowed my body to grow. And that's when I kind of started to believe in myself as a basketball player, and that I might have a future in the game.
How would you describe your game as a kid, and how that sort of developed and changed throughout your career?
So I was always pretty quick with the ball, and I learned to shoot pretty well, probably from about age 15. My parents built a court in my backyard, and I got a lot of use out of that. And I really worked on my shot, worked on my ball handling, played a lot of one-on-one with, even some adults and my brothers and so forth. And I think I was really offensive minded. I just felt that I was going to have to be a factor on the offensive end all the time. And that continued, although it slightly changed in college. And then in the pros, I think I fully blossomed as a complete basketball player, especially on the offensive end.
Now, attending college at Davidson on a scholarship, how did that feel coming into the school team as a freshman and really establishing yourself as a leader and as a player?
Yeah, I was 17 when I first got to Davidson, and I think I started the second game of my career there, and I never really looked back. So at that point, I just turned 18, and I was responsible for running the team, and it was a real challenge. But that first year was rough. I think we won 10 games and lost 20. So, we took a lot of lumps there, but
Mhm.
I learned a lot that first season. And I think I averaged like 12 or 13 points a game. So it was really a good year for me. And it kind of set the foundation for what was going to come the next 3
Mhm.
seasons.
Now you led Davidson to the NCAA tournament in your sophomore year. Can you expand on the tournament and the season and the year from your perspective?
It was a really good year. We made huge jumps. I think so. In my freshman year, as I just said, we went from 10-20 to 20-10 that second year. We won the Southern Conference tournament. Yeah, we flipped it big time.
Yeah.
We won the Southern Conference tournament, which gave us an automatic bid into the NCAA Final 64. Now, Max, we didn't last long because we played the number 1 overall seed, who were the Kentucky Wildcats, and they were really, really strong. But we played them on our home court, and we actually established a 10-point lead early in the game. But Kentucky just had too much talent. I think they wound up beating us like 75-55. I was decent, nothing spectacular, but it was a great experience nevertheless.
Now, being twice the Southern Conference Tournament MVP, I know the main goal for everyone in sports is to win as a team, but what's it like to win those personal awards or accolades?
Well, I think it's something that we share with our teammates, and everyone takes great pride in seeing one of their teammates really excel and play near to his or her potential. And I think, you always have to be grateful and appreciative of your teammates and the contribution they make to anyone's personal success. And I was always throughout my whole career. And I played with some great teammates in my years, and it is something that I do miss.
So how did the opportunity of coming down to Australia to play for the Bullets in 1990 present itself?
Wow. So Brian Curl, who was, pretty much one of the main factors that for the Bullets even existing now, he built the Bullets up, and he was the head coach. Then he was looking for a point guard and a certain type of point guard. And this was back in 1989. He was taking the Bullets team. Back then, the NBL teams used to tour the United States and play against the leading college teams quite often. It gave them a chance to get away as a bit of a holiday. It gave them a chance to trial new imports. And it gave them a good off season to see where their weaknesses were. And some of the Australians were able to play against good American players. So they trialed me on like a 17-day tour. I think we played like 12 or 13 games. It was really stressful. The competition was good. It was in November of 1989. So I went on that tour. I played pretty well. And at the end of it, they offered me a spot on the team.
Wow. So can you tell me about like your games against the Bullets and how they sort of viewed you?
So I was playing with the Bullets on that tour. We played against college teams all through the Midwest. Like we played Kansas, Kansas State, Iowa State, Nebraska. We played some really good teams, and circumstances kind of worked in my favor. It wound up in a couple of games where I wound up with the ball in my hands with a chance to win the game. And I think I came through twice or maybe 3 times. I think the story's been greatly exaggerated, Max. I think it was actually twice in those 2 weeks I hit game winners, but some of my loyal friends have probably exaggerated out to about 4 or 5 game winners. I think it was only 2, buddy.
Now, coming into the Bullets as a star is no easy job, but to take our MVP honors and make the All-NBL first team in that year too is like completely on a crazy another level. Can you elaborate on this year, not only for you, but for the team too?
Hey, check this out, my man. Do you know who Bill Simmons is?
Yeah.
Of course you do, right?
Yeah.
You're like a mini Australian young Bill Simmons, huh?
I hope so.
I like what you're doing. That first season was terrific. I had the good fortune to come into a team and play with the man who I believe, despite Corey Homicide Williams' opinion of Bryce Cotton, who I hold in high regard also. Yep. I think Leroy Loggins is still the greatest import who has ever played in the NBL. Now, I was
Wow.
lucky enough to play with Leroy, and that guy was brilliant. So that first season, kind of coming in, knowing that I didn't have a lot of pressure on me because it was Leroy's team and Leroy was a superstar, it really gave me a huge margin for error. And I think that was one of the reasons why I was really able to thrive. And we worked hard, and Coach Curl was great to me. And Brisbane was a city where I really felt comfortable living. I felt comfortable playing here. And, the bond was established. And ironically, I'm back here now, and it's a place that I really enjoy.
You then headed off to the Birmingham Bullets in England for a year or so. What was the experience like of going overseas and experiencing, I guess, England's culture and their environment, and then playing basketball over there too?
So that was 1992, and England was especially Birmingham, was a very repressed society. And after leaving sunny Brisbane and the warmth and the warm culture that Australians create, and going to, a Northern Hemisphere country where the people quite don't get down like we get down here in Australia. There's just a different tone to life. And they're dealing with different circumstances. And I found the adjustment somewhat difficult from a living perspective. The basketball standard wasn't as good. However, the athleticism in that league was really, really good. And I thought when I left England, I was a much better athlete than when I had arrived there.
Yeah. Now, I see you return to the NBL, but at the Newcastle Falcons this time. Why did you decide to return to Australia and the NBL? And can you take me through that season through your eyes?
I was really excited to try and get back and prove myself. I left Brisbane in circumstances that weren't ideal and probably not reflective of who I was as a player. So I was really eager to get back, and I was on a mission when I got back here. I wanted to have a long career. I flirted with the NBA in the time that I'd been away. I had some really good looks from the Atlanta Hawks. There were a couple of the teams that were looking at me and bringing me in for training camp. They didn't quite work out. And so when the opportunity came in Newcastle, I took it, and I thought it was a place where I could really thrive.
Now, after that season with the Falcons, you took an opportunity to play in the Philippines in 1996. How did you find your time here?
Philippines was crazy. They love basketball. They are mad about basketball. And if anyone ever got a chance to play over there and feel that environment and feel that energy, I highly recommend it. And I think we're going to experience a bit of that next year when with the Adelaide 36ers, big man from the Philippines comes over and plays in the NBL. It should be really, really interesting.
What was that like for you over there to experience a different country, different language, different culture, and how did you find fitting into the team?
I thought that the style of play, the Philippines plays by NBA rules and regulations. So that was really interesting because I hadn't played under those circumstances in a while since I tried out with the NBA team. So that was cool. And it's always a great experience to go somewhere else, go somewhere foreign, get out of your comfort shell, and still have to perform. Australia is very kind to its imports. We give imports first chances, second chances, third, fourth, sometimes too many chances, Max, when they need to be cut and moved on. And that's very, very unique to Australia. That can be viewed as a good thing or a bad thing. But in most parts of the world, you better show up you better get it done in the first week. Otherwise, they're sending you out of there.
Yeah. Now, throughout 95 to 98, you played at the Townsville Suns, which later became the Crocodiles. What was it like coming into this club and sort of back in the hot weather, who were in their sort of early years in the league?
They were in their early years, and I thought that we did a good job of establishing some respect up there. I probably had planned on staying there longer, but things didn't quite work out. And I kind of needed a bit more out of life. It's very important that you enjoy basketball,
Yeah.
but I always believed in a real rounded approach to living my life. And
Mm-hmm.
at that point, I'd had my first child, and I just wanted more to experience out of life. And I think that led me to moving to Sydney and playing with the Razorbacks. But my time in Townsville was excellent. I made some good friends, and I thought I probably played some of my best basketball there.
So how did you obviously you mentioned like you're playing sort of your best basketball in Townsville, but how do you feel you performed as a team and then yourself too up at Townsville?
The team definitely ascended. I think in our third season there, we were in third place late in the season with like 6 games to go. We were going to make the playoffs for the first time. And then the other import, Clarence Tyson, who was an absolute star at that time, he blew his knee out.
Oh.
And we didn't win another game the rest of the year.
Now, after your last season with the Suns, you made the switch back to Sydney at the West Sydney Razorbacks. Now, they were also a new team too. How did this move come about for you, and how did you feel about going into sort of another new team and sort of helping this other club establish themselves in the league?
Well, like I said, I'm always stimulated by new challenges and new places. And so Sydney was a place that had always kind of been a second home to me throughout my career. It's a place I went and spent a lot of time in the off season. So to get the opportunity to perform and every day down in Sydney was something that I really cherished. The Razorbacks were new. I was the first player signed there. And I was confident that the organization there was going to build a team that would give me a chance to compete for a championship. And that happened. We made a grand final, I think, in year 4, but unfortunately, we're unable to bring that championship to Sydney. And it was a great experience. And again, along the path of my basketball life, it was, I have very few regrets. I really loved my time at West Sydney.
Now, in 2003, you turned to where your NBL career all kicked off at the Brisbane Bullets, and you played there for sort of the last 3 years of your career.
Yep.
What was it like to finish up at Brisbane and play under such a great and experienced coach like Joey Wright, who we've also had on the podcast, by the way?
Yep. Joey was a fantastic coach, and he still is a fantastic coach. And I think one of the things I learned about Joey that I carry on today is the importance of building strong interpersonal relationships. And Joey and I are very close friends now. And he's someone that I really value in my life. And, that was probably the shining moment from my final 3 years in Brisbane. We played very good basketball. We made the playoffs every year. And I thought, at that age, I think I was 37, 38, and 39. And that's believe me, that's well and truly beyond the number of years I thought I would have been in the league. So I had a lot of time for my teammates there, and I respected Joey for getting me to play that well and putting me in situations that late in my career in which I could really, really play well and excel. And it was really a good time here, Max.
Finishing up your playing career in the sport, how and when did you know that you were going to retire?
Well, I didn't know. Kind of the salary cap, and sometimes guys have to go out because they can't play anymore. Some guys have to go out because they're hurt. There are a lot of different reasons, but I was still more than capable of playing. It was just the system. There was a salary cap system in place, and it made it difficult for the Bullets to slot me in. They decided they wanted to go in another direction. I had a couple of other opportunities elsewhere, but I just felt it was time to move on, and I was happy with where it ended. I never got that championship ring that I would have loved, but it's not all about that. I was proud of what I did in my life, and it pretty much set me up for where I am now. And I'm still in the game. And I really have no complaints about what I did over my 15 years in the NBL.
Now, how do you feel about the Bullets heritage jersey this season? I think I saw you playing in a game in a photo throughout your career in that jersey that they've sort of brought back into the league this year.
Yeah, I like some of them. Some of them are bad, but most of them are pretty good. What did you think about them?
I think Brisbane's was one of the best ones. United, I like the sort of all the foundation sort of members on it, but I would have liked them to incorporate a bit of, I don't know, the Tigers or something like that. And then with Southeast Melbourne, I thought, come on, guys, like, can't you incorporate some magic in there?
Yeah. Or, well, who's your team? Who's your favorite NBL team?
Probably Melbourne United.
Stop being a front runner, man.
I
Hey, what about Illawarra? Don't you like Gorgon?
love Gorge.
You're too young to know Gorge. You don't know anything about
No,
Gorge.
no.
Oh, you do? How do you know?
Yeah, I love Gorge. Mate, he's been like 11-time championships and like all this kind of thing. And he's coming back into the league and he's sort of like Illawarra's gone from like somewhere near the bottom half of the ladder and they're fighting for a playoff spot. And it's really, his presence has made like a massive difference alongside the new co-owners.
Let's flip this script though. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Who do you think is going to win the NBL championship this year? You watch myself and Shane Heal on the basketball show, right?
Yeah.
Who do you think's going to win? You see us talking about different things. Who do you think is going to win the championship this year?
I reckon Perth.
Why?
I don't know. I think they can get it done. Bryce Cotton, obviously everyone was doubting him and John Mooney at the start of the season, but he's shown that he can uplift this team and he can take them to the place that they need to be. And then you've got Will Magnay coming into the side as well. And
Let me ask you a question. So you think Bryce Cotton has been the MVP, the past 2 seasons?
Yeah, past 2 years.
Okay.
He got it. Yeah.
He's the MVP. Do you also believe he is the best all-around player in the league? Because you're the MVP doesn't mean that you're necessarily the best all-around player. One could make the argument that Mitch Creek is the best all-around player. Who do you think is the best all-around player in the league?
Oh.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
I don't think it's Bryce Cotton.
Right.
Because he doesn't have all the aspects. He's got the defense, but he's not all there. He's not someone like Mitch Creek who's good on both ends of the floor and is so dominant and powerful for the Phoenix. And once he gets going again, they I think they're still in the top 4 now. They're going to be fighting for a top 4 spot once he gets going too.
Okay. You've got a game 5, Perth versus Melbourne United.
Yeah.
Bill Simmons hits you up and is like, Max, if you get this right, I'll give you a spot on the ringer.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you put your money on in a head-to-head matchup between Landale and John Mooney?
I'm going Jock Landale. Depending on how Perth attack him and guard him, if they don't double team him, he's going to just dominate them. And even if they still put the double team on him, I believe that he can get it done. But to take out, I think Perth will still win because Bryce Cotton, guys like Toddy Blanchfield coming out the other night, over 20 points or something like that. I think he had 22, 25 points. Yeah. And it depends, I guess, if they're playing in front of the Red Army at their home, then the Wildcats got the home court advantage. Not many teams could go out there at Perth and beat the Wildcats on their home court. Okay, one last question. Mm-hmm. What do you think? How do you think the Adelaide 36ers are going to finish out the rest of the year? You think they get into the top 4? Who are they taking out? They're going to have to take out, I reckon Illawarra is almost a lock. Why? I don't know, because they've got there's a big, there's a big log jam, right? Yeah. There's out of a couple of teams to make. So I think Sydney, there's Perth and Melbourne are already a lock. Yeah, Perth and Melbourne. And so Sydney's 14-14. Phoenix are 14-14. Hawks are 13-14. Bullets are 12-14. Sixers are 13-16. That thing is tight. I know. And then the Sixers will finish. They keep playing the way they are. Josh Giddey, 3 triple-doubles in a week. And then Isaac Humphries is still going to get going. Tony Crocker playing in some great form at the moment. And I think they're going to finish 4th or they're going to finish 5th. And then Hawks. So you think the Kings are out? You think Southeast Melbourne, Phoenix are out, and the Bullets are out? I don't think the Bullets are out. Max, only 4 teams are making it. You've named 5. Yeah. Adelaide. Yep. Perth, Melbourne, and it's tough, isn't it? Sydney or Southeast Melbourne. I thought you said Illawarra. Yeah, I know, but then you've
Now
got
you
to.
now you got doubts.
Yeah. But then
No, hey man, it's hard. How do you know?
it's so
hard.
tight. It's out. There's like 3 teams, and we're near the end of the season, and it's
Plus,
so close. There's like 4 teams. There's only 2 teams in the league who are most likely not going to make the finals.
Breakers and Taipans are out, so you've got 5 teams competing for 2 spots, and you got COVID hanging around.
Yeah,
and all it takes is a bad lockdown. You know what I mean?
And put their season out of line.
And all of a sudden, you're on the road for a month.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but it is. I guess it's good for the league and attention being attention being shown to it, because that is going to be a good through 7 right now. That's exciting.
Yeah. Now, you had a role as an executive director of corporate basketball services at the Sydney Kings through to the end of through from 2006 until late 2007. What did you do here?
So basically, it was a co-CEO role, and I was in charge of just making sure all the corporate stuff was in shape. Box sales, season ticket launches, marketing, all that type of stuff, and also dabbled into the player contracts and making sure our salary cap structure was right and we had everything in order. So, we were on the verge of building an empire. Gord was the coach. And, we just had some misfortune with a bad owner, but we were right there. And man, I wish we would have had the opportunity to really let that thing ride out, because, we had something cooking.
Now you've had a bunch of media roles throughout and after your career, including the NBL Weekly Recap Show, and also as an NBL analyst for Fox Sports. Can you elaborate on your time in the media?
Well, I think it started back probably around 97 or so, where I first started doing some guest spots with Fox Sports doing games and just kind of sideline reporting, and it built on. And I've always been lucky enough to get good opportunities in the media. I've done my own podcast off and on over the years, which I'm thinking about firing up again. Guest roles on different programs. And, it's, I really like commentating. I'm a student of the game. I'm passionate about it. I'm a fan also, as well as a former player. I've coached at a pretty decent level. So it's kind of hard not to want to share. And I don't mind talking to people. It's just nice to be, not only to speak, but the fact that people want to hear what you have to say.
Now, in 2016, you founded Derek Rucker Basketball. Can you tell the listeners what it's all about?
Yeah, it's a premium basketball skills development business based here in Southeast Queensland. I work with about 80 to 100 bodies per week. It's been a very successful, and, this might sound somewhat corny, but in terms of the work that I've done with DRB over the past 5 years, it is far and away more rewarding than anything that I did with my playing career. Just seeing the players of all ages, talent levels, improving and excelling, man, it's just it's really soul enriching, and I just hope to do it until they put me in the dirt.
So who do you think's the top prospect who you've worked with so far?
Well, I've worked with NBL players. I've got a couple of NBA players that are coming over. I work with Mojave King, obviously.
Wow.
You know about that.
Yeah.
I've worked with a lot of top level female players who are in the WNBL. And it's everything, but it's just not about the talent, Max. I'm about attitude. I don't care. You may not be able to hit the side of the backboard with your shot, but if you've got a good attitude and you want to learn, you want to stay at it, I'm down with you. I'll be there for you. So it's everything. And I really love it. And, I take great pride in what I do. And, it's about building the interpersonal relationships, and not only with the players, but it continues to their siblings and their parents and their extended families. And, DRB has been the most successful venture I've ever taken on in my life. And I'm very, very happy with it, and quite proud.
Now, I want to touch on Jay Shante. I mean, how incredible, and it just shows the NBL ain't no cupcake league. Jay Sean going over there for the Rockets, playing in the starting 5 and being, I think it's top 3 for the Rookie of the Year at the moment so far. What's your perspective on him and how great of a player he's going to be?
Well, I thought the main thing that he brought for the Sydney Kings was his energy, and I thought he did a really good job with that. But now we're seeing that he's got more than that. You know,
Yeah,
he handles the
absolutely.
ball, he defends, he can rebound. He's just a really good utility player. He passes the ball better, I think, than people think. And now Cam Oliver is playing
Cam
on the
Oliver.
team with him, right? So, you know, I think both those guys have an opportunity to stick. Like Houston's cleared out, and it's apparent that they are looking for young talent and guys that want to work and get the right culture in there. So, you know, sometimes when you go into a situation that looks somewhat decrepit and beaten down, for guys like that, it's a great opportunity to showcase their skills and make a claim for a continued contract with that team.
Now, Cam Oliver, I think I saw one of their permanent players had played the same amount of minutes today as Oliver, and he only had like 2, 3, or 2, 1, and like 2 points, which is where Oliver had like 3 boards, 2 assists, and 13 points.
Right. Hey, did you go to school today or what?
Yeah, I went to school, checking the scores all day long.
Hey, my man, you got to be studying you got to hit them books. You got all day long. Oh no, as long as you do it at lunch, you're cool.
Yeah, I did it at lunch. Yep. But then
I'm not so sure you're doing it at lunch only.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
And the teacher's talking. If the teacher turns her back, you get a little look at your phone.
No.
Yeah, you got a window open on your computer.
No.
Max.
I swear. Hands are up.
All right, cool.
Now, I guess the Rockets are sort of building with guys from the NBL. You know, Will Weaver, Sydney Kings head coach, going over there, assistant coach. John Will, Dante Exum, part owners at Southeast Melbourne, and then Jay Sean Tate and Cam Oliver. They're really building quite the sort of like reputation. They've obviously got people scouting all these guys from the NBL.
There's no doubt. And, you know, having Will Weaver, because here's the deal. When people have seen you play and conduct yourself in person, that is so valuable, because it takes time to learn about players and prospects. And, you know, if that scouting portion can be expedited, that makes everything so much easier. If you know the person's a good person and you've dealt with them before, you know, that takes that out of the equation right away. And then you can just focus in on, well, is he good enough to play at this level? And both those guys obviously are.
Now, Josh Giddey, what a talent. What pick are you projecting him to go at, and who do you think he's going to in the NBA draft?
I don't know, but I'm going to say around number 8.
Number 8. Because I know some people are saying he's like top 5 pick or something like that.
Yeah, I think around 8 would be a safe guess without, you know, getting everyone's hopes up too high. I think 8 is probably truly representative of where, you know, based on his skill set and some of the other guys in the draft. But here's the thing, like, we never know. Somebody could really be liking what he has. You know, I made a statement that I thought if Golden State get a really high pick, he wouldn't be a bad piece to go with Stephen Clay.
Now, did you ever have an idol growing up? And if so, why?
I liked Isaiah Thomas, the original one.
Yep. Gun.
Yes, I liked him. I liked Dr. J. I liked Larry Bird. I liked John Lucas.
Yep.
Those are the guys that I really kind of modeled myself after as a player.
If you could go out for dinner with anyone in the world, who would it be?
Can I bring back the dead?
Yeah.
Let's go with Bob Marley.
Why?
I just think his commitment to harmony in the world, and, you know, his poetic nature and his brain, I think it would be great to have a conversation at dinner with him.
Who is your favorite NBL team to watch?
I really enjoy watching Bryce play. I think I just like the way he plays the game. He's a good person. He's been on my podcast, and I really enjoyed that. And I just like he plays the game the right way. He plays hard. He plays athletic, and he doesn't shy away from the big moment. Most of the time, he gets the job done. But if he doesn't get the job done, you don't see him moaning and complaining. He just picks up the pieces and comes out the next game and busts you up to the best of his ability.
So is your favorite team to watch the Wildcats?
Probably this season. Last year, I really enjoyed watching Cairns.
Yeah, they were great last year. DJ Newell, Cam Oliver.
Yeah.
And then this year, the sort of pieces couldn't get DJ Newell back because obviously only 2 imports.
Earlier this season, I was really enjoying watching Southeast Melbourne.
Mm-hmm. They were dominant at the start of the year.
Yeah, lately they're not so dominant, Max.
Yeah. If you were a 14-year-old trying to get into sports radio and TV, how would you do it?
Keep doing what you're doing. You're on the right track. You're on the right track. You know your stuff. You've done your work, and you've got a good look, and you speak well. You should be very happy.
All right. Thanks, Derek, for coming on the podcast today and putting aside some of your time to come on and have a chat.
Hey, it's been an honor, Max. I'm more than happy to do it again. You just hit me up and let me know, buddy.
All right. Thanks, Derek. Stay tuned, everyone, for more Sporting Max.